Mary Kay says the Browns have vetted quarterback Brendan Sorsby so far, and their next steps before deciding whether or not to bid on him if he declares for the supplemental draft.
The Cleveland Browns just got a massive quarterback update. And honestly, this changes the entire conversation around the future of this franchise. Because for the last few weeks, Browns fans have been hearing non-stop rumors about Brendan Sorsby potentially entering the supplemental draft and Cleveland possibly making a move for him. People were already imagining scenarios where the Browns completely pivot away from the current quarterback room and invest another major pick into finding their future guy. But now, an NFL insider just came over the top with a completely different story. And if this report is accurate, Browns fans need to start taking the Shedeur Sanders versus Deshaun Watson battle way more seriously than they already were.
Schrager, who talks to a lot of different folks around the NFL, who really gets good stuff. I mean, he was the first one to predict that the Browns would draft Spencer Fano with their first pick. He said this via the Pat McAfee show today. I am told the Browns right now, Sorsby's name has not been in the conversation. Rather, they are focused on what they have in-house at the moment, and that is a Deshaun Watson revival and Shedeur Sanders.
Because according to Peter Schrager, someone who has been extremely plugged into league circles and has nailed Browns-related information before, Brendan Sorsby's name reportedly has not been in the conversation inside the Browns organization right now. Instead, Cleveland is apparently focused on what they already have in-house, and that means one thing. The Browns are seriously evaluating whether Deshaun Watson can revive his career or whether Shedeur Sanders is ready to become the future of this franchise.
So we say Cleveland media, wrong again. Mary Kay and Tony Grossi, I don't even know why I keep reading their stuff, to be honest, because Schrager is saying the Browns are not focused on Sorsby.
One side is done with Watson, completely. Another side thinks rushing Shedeur too early could break him before he ever gets a real chance. Then there are the Sorsby believers quietly waiting for everyone else to catch up. 3 camps, no agreement, 1 job available. But here is what nobody is actually saying. Cleveland accidentally built the most emotionally loaded quarterback situation in the NFL. Watson is not just fighting for a starting job, he's fighting for his legacy, his career, and the last bit of goodwill Browns fans have left for him. That is not a normal training camp competition. That is survival. And Shedeur is not just another rookie trying to make it through his first NFL summer. He's the most talked about young quarterback in football. The name, the personality, the draft story, the expectations, it all follows him into every single rep he takes. 2 quarterbacks, 2 massive stories, 1 job to give out. Cleveland has not had anything this loaded in a very long time.
From the Browns' perspective, I mean, that's a little bit too high of a draft pick in 2027. You probably got to give up at least a 3rd or 2nd. A 2nd if you want him, a 3rd if you want the flyer or the chance to have him. And those are very valuable picks in 2027 because that class is just so loaded.
And that's why this insider update matters so much, because the Browns had every opportunity to keep chasing outside quarterback options. Rumors connected them to Sorsby. Media discussions kept suggesting Cleveland could use future draft capital to grab another developmental prospect. But according to Schrager, the organization is apparently more focused on maximizing what they already built internally. Now, let's be real for a second. That Brendan Sorsby discussion wasn't completely fake. Browns insiders like Mary Kay Cabot and Tony Grossi both reported Cleveland had been doing homework on him. There were real conversations about the possibility of Sorsby entering the supplemental draft and the Browns potentially using a future pick to land him. So the interest clearly existed at some level, but Schrager's update completely shifted the tone. Instead of aggressively chasing Sorsby, Cleveland now reportedly seems locked in on evaluating Deshaun Watson and Shedeur first.
Why waste a 2027 pick when you might need to be trading up in that draft?
The 2027 quarterback class is loaded. Arch Manning, Dante Moore, C.J. Carr. If the Browns still need a quarterback by then, those premium picks become incredibly valuable for moving up the board. Burning a major pick on Sorsby now could cost them a generational talent later. That is not a small risk to take. Then there's the roster reality. Cleveland already has 4 quarterbacks. Adding a 5th creates chaos fast. Somebody loses reps, somebody's development slows, somebody gets cut. For a team desperately trying to stabilize its offense, manufacturing that kind of internal mess makes no sense. And the off-field concerns around Sorsby cannot be ignored either. Reports mentioned a gambling addiction situation and rehab. People absolutely deserve second chances and support during recovery, but NFL teams think about risk constantly, especially at the most important position on the field. Cleveland already survived enough controversy and instability with Watson. Adding another uncertain situation to the locker room might simply feel unnecessary right now. The Browns cannot afford another quarterback disaster. The Watson gamble already divided the fan base and cost this franchise real time. Another premium pick that doesn't work out could set everything back again. So while fans debate Sorsby loudly online, the front office is probably being far more cautious than anyone realizes. Sometimes the most important move is the one you do not make.
Shedeur, on the other hand, he should get the first crack at reps. The very first 11-on-11 drill, Shedeur went first.
And that is wild. Watson was supposed to be the unquestioned franchise quarterback. Cleveland gave him massive money and handed him the future of the organization. Now reports say Shedeur is getting first crack at reps and coaches are genuinely impressed. The dynamic has shifted without anyone officially announcing it. To be fair, evaluating Shedeur last season was nearly impossible. Dropped passes, bad protection, coaching instability. There were real flashes of confidence and playmaking ability. There were also real struggles. Anyone who already knows exactly what Sanders will become is moving way too fast. But Browns fans are exhausted. That is the reality nobody could ignore. They thought the organization was finally ready to turn the page. Hearing Watson still has the inside track instantly frustrated a massive portion of the fan base. Unless Watson takes Cleveland deep into the playoffs, most fans simply do not see the point anymore. If Shedeur wins the job, though, the entire franchise changes direction overnight. He becomes the face of the rebuild and one of the biggest stories in the NFL. The stage is ready. Now someone has to go take it.
It would also probably mean they feel Watson is a safer start than Shedeur, meaning Shedeur didn't really get a true chance to sit and learn last year. He wasn't in the mix at all, and it was a bad system. So maybe they think Shedeur would benefit from sitting behind Watson for a few games and watch the veteran and then come in later in the season. I think regardless, we see both of them play.
And honestly, you can already feel the tension building around this quarterback battle. Every practice report matters now. Every rep gets analyzed online. Every insider comment creates another war between Browns fans. Watson supporters point toward experience and veteran leadership. Sanders supporters point toward upside and the need for a fresh start. What's crazy is that both arguments actually make sense depending on how you view Cleveland's future. If the Browns believe they can compete immediately, maybe Watson's experience gives them stability. But if they believe the roster still needs development, then maybe Sanders is the smarter long-term investment. And here's where the bigger legacy conversation comes into play, because quarterback decisions define NFL franchises for years. One wrong move can destroy an entire era. One correct move changes everything. Just look around the league. Teams spend decades searching for franchise quarterbacks. Cleveland knows that better than almost anybody. That's why this latest update from Peter Schrager feels so important. It's not really about Brendan Sorsby anymore. It's about the Browns finally deciding what direction they want their identity to take moving forward. Are they still trying to revive Watson's career, or are they preparing for the Shedeur Sanders era? And honestly, Browns fans are probably more divided on this question than any fan base in football right now. Some people desperately want Watson to succeed because of the investment Cleveland already made. Others are completely emotionally checked out from that situation and only care about developing Sanders now. Meanwhile, the pressure on Shedeur keeps growing every single day. Because fair or unfair, fans are already treating him like the potential savior of the franchise. Every highlight clip goes viral instantly. Every mistake gets overanalyzed. And once Browns fans emotionally attach themselves to a young quarterback, expectations become absolutely insane. But make no mistake, this latest update from Peter Schrager completely changed the quarterback conversation in Cleveland. Brendan Sorsby may still get discussed by media circles, but according to this report, the Browns internally are focused on something much bigger right now: Watson versus Shedeur. And honestly, that battle might decide the next 5 years of Browns football. Because if Watson wins and struggles again, the backlash will be catastrophic. Fans will demand immediate changes. Questions about the front office and coaching staff will explode again. But if Sanders wins and succeeds, suddenly Cleveland finally has hope for the future again. That's why every single Browns fan should be paying attention to this quarterback battle right now. Because this isn't just another off-season storyline anymore. This feels like the beginning of a franchise-defining decision. And trust me, by the time Week 1 arrives, the pressure surrounding this quarterback room is going to be absolutely insane.